Hello and welcome to Pop Culture Shark, a live stream about all things pop culture. I'm your host, Final Monkey,
And I'm Caleb.
and today we have a crazy show for you. We were not planning on talking about X-Men again, but
I get
some
this I get this message on Wednesday and he's like, "We should have waited a week."
yeah. So we will talk about X-Men 97. We will also talk about shocking moments that changed TV shows. We have a lot to talk about. We also going to talk about CinemaCon. So we'll see. We may not get to it all today. We're gonna play it by ear,
Yeah.
see how long the conversations go. But before all that, Caleb, how you been doing, bud?
Good, good. Just kind of um playing a lot of Destiny. There was a new update before Final Shapes, so that's pretty much all I've been doing is just grinding out Destiny with the new update. Um And as far as other pop culture stuff, because I could talk about Destiny for hours, so I'm not going to. Um, but Cameron and I, we went to IHOP yesterday,
Uh oh.
and because they have the Sonic the Hedgehog menu at IHOP right now,
Yes.
and so we wanted to have Sonic the Hedgehog pancakes, and so I ate a lot of Sonic the Hedgehog blueberry pancakes, and now my tummy hurts.
I would imagine so. Yes.
Yeah, and Cameron got the chocolate on chocolate Shadow the Hedgehog. Um, Knuckles had a chicken sandwich, which is funny because it's a knuckle sandwich. That's really funny. um, but yeah. It's been a week for Sonic the Hedgehog as well. Which we'll talk about as far as CinemaCon. Um, but yeah, I mean, Destiny and Sonic the Hedgehog. I have not watched any of Shogun. We will get to that. Um, and then I haven't finished the Three Body Problem first season yet, but I really like it, and I'm concerned that this is the type of show that can become bad. So
I I had the same feeling reading the books. Well, yeah. So
did you, well, let's move on to you. Did you finish the books, or are you still going through
I'm
them?
on. I'm in the middle of book two now. So I've moved on to the Dark Forest.
Still good.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I like their humanity's plan to deal with this and how they're trying to keep their
Oh, with the wall facers.
yeah the wall facer thing just started, so I think that's very interesting.
So I've looked into it. Apparently, what it is, as far as the show, is they do all three books at the same time because the trilogy is non-linear, and so the show is doing it in a somewhat linear order.
Interesting,
Yeah.
because
Uh,
it's been kind of linear so far. I mean, book one kind of jump back and forth between the '60s and
yeah.
modern
That's
day.
at this point. That's really what it is jumping back and forth between modern day and 60s, and then kind of showing what the Trisolarians are dealing with. And of course we're not seeing what the Trisolarians look like. I doubt we ever will see what Trisolarians look like, because that seems like one of the things that you don't show, like, don't this is the type of show where you don't show what the aliens look like.
I'm not sure if they've been shown in the books. They've been described in the books, but I don't know if they've actually been shown. So
um,
um,
do you, by the way, the idea of the Dark Forest I find fascinating. Do you know what the Dark Forest is yet?
has not come up yet in the book yet.
Okay, I will not say anything.
Yeah. Um, yeah, it's still the wall facer thing is still kind of early on in the book.
have have they
I'm
sel-
probably about a fifth of the way through the book.
have they
They've
selected the Wall Facers?
yes, the four have been selected right now, and the wall breakers have been selected. I don't know if you know what a wall breaker is,
Yeah,
but
I do.
yeah. Uh, and we're starting to hear their initial plans of the wall facers. That's where I'm at right now. So,
Okay.
yeah, it's an interesting idea. If I was the government, I would announce 4 wall facers, and then they're not the real fault 4 wall facers. There would be a totally different group of wall facers that nobody knows.
No,
They'd
what
be
I
like
would
the decoys.
what I would do um is like I would announce that there are a certain number of wall facers, but it's the wrong number.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know why they. For those who don't know about this series, the aliens are on their way. They'll be here in 400 years, and they have the aliens have deployed something in the air, some type of microscopic thing, the sophons or whatever they're called,
Yep.
and they can basically see
They're
everything
everywhere.
we're doing. They see everything we're doing, and they can hear everything we're doing, all of our plans. So the only thing they can't see is our thoughts. So the thought is, what if we give 4 people the ability to plot our course? Nobody will know what they're thinking. We just do whatever they say, and that way our plans will be secret from the enemies. And but they did it. They did it very publicly,
Yeah.
which makes me think that they are trying to mislead. Like I think I just feel like it's a game upon a game where this is not the actual plan.
Well, and even the wall breakers are like a game upon a game. So I mean it's already there.
Yeah, yeah. So I just feel like there's a lot of it's gonna turn to Lost very quickly, where it's like, wait, what's really going on here? And I can see how that could get very bad very quickly, or it could be fascinating, depending on how this pans out. So
There's this guy on YouTube that I like to watch called Quinn's Ideas.
yes, Quinn's ideas was great.
Okay, so as much as he loves Dune, he also loves Three Body Problems, so that gives me hope.
Yeah. I started to watch his video about 3 body problems. I got like 3 or 5 minutes in. I was like, oh wait, I should be reading this book, because that's why I
Yeah.
started reading it. I was like, wait. This sounds too interesting. Stop. Because I was just gonna have it on in the background while I was working. Just here's something new I don't know about. And
So, did you know there was a show before you started reading?
I had heard that there was a show, but it was just kind of like, you see the weird little Netflix trailers. I'm like, okay, oh, that's the guy from Game of Thrones. Oh, that's the guy from Marvel. Okay, I don't care. That was that reaction. I was like, yeah, I don't care about this.
I mean,
now I'm on board.
it was an interesting trailer because it's just, I mean, the trailer's so weird because nothing happens in the trailer, and then at the very end, every screen says "You are bugs."
Yeah. Which is how the first book ends. Yeah. So that's interesting.
You are bugs, I think, is like, to give you perspective, I think that's like episode 3 or 4. So
yeah. Other than that,
we'll have to watch. We'll have to talk about that. I want to talk about it.
Shogun continues to be wild and crazy. I've got 2 episodes left now, and they continue to be very much behind the 8 ball. I don't know how they're going to pull this off. So, and then we started Fallout last night. Watched the first episode of that.
I still haven't watched any of it yet. I've heard it's really good. Like, the only people who hate it are Fallout fans. So,
oh, that's a good sign. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. It is. It's Fallout, from what I can tell. It's very much that cheesy dark humor. It feels like Fallout.
I mean, Walton Goggins is one of my favorite actors. So, I mean, if anything, I mean, he's the ghoul, right?
Yeah.
If anything, he'll be enjoyable because I love him in Justified. I love him in every Tarantino movie I've seen him in. He's just great.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was. I kept looking at the main character's brother. I was like, I've seen him before. Then I realized, oh, that's the bully from Ender's Game. But yeah,
Moises Arias. Yeah, no, that's Rico from Hannah Montana.
Oh, okay. No, I don't I don't know
Yeah.
anything about Hannah Montana other than Billy Ray Cyrus and yeah. Anyhow, she's like a superhero or secret identity or whatever, like Clark Kent,
Oh
Superman.
wow. Okay, no, she's not a superhero.
I
So
mean,
you.
not a superhero,
Yeah.
but she has a secret identity, is what
Oh
I
yeah.
mean. Like Clark Kent,
Yeah.
Superman.
Yeah. She's a
Um,
pop. She's a. Imagine if Britney Spears wasn't Britney Spears. Like, she takes off a wig and she's
so
like, "Hi,
dumb.
I'm not Britney Spears. My secret identity is,
Uh,
uh,
LaWanda Jones.
yeah, LaWanda Jones. I'm a pop star, but I want to have a normal life too."
So dumb. I think there was an episode of Saved by the Bell like that, like the early Miss Bliss years episodes where he met this girl. He's like, "Oh yeah, you're cool." Then he realized it was the superstar. Anyhow, it's very early episode. Zach Morris, back when Miss Bliss was on there. So,
Whenever
um,
she was the main character.
yes. Poor Haley Bills. They're like, here, we'll give you a show where you're a teacher. Cool. You know what, Haley? It's not working. We're just gonna make this show about the kids now. We're gonna move it to California for absolutely no reason and craziness. So, but yeah, Fallout first episode looked good. It looks like they're gonna start from the preview. Looks like they're gonna flash back and forth between before the bombs hit and after. Kind of tell the backstory of the ghoul. Flesh that out some more.
From what I can tell, like, it's not an adaptation. Like, it actually takes place in the continuity of the games. That's what I've heard.
I don't. I know some Fallout stuff, but I'm not like extremely, in the lore. I've listened to some things over the years, about Fallout, but yeah, I like I said, I enjoyed the first episode. I'm looking forward to the rest. Um, it seems like we're getting a story from the three different characters' points of view: the Vault Dweller, the what do they call the Brotherhood of Steel, the soldiers. I think that's what they're called. The ones that have the mech suits.
Oh yeah.
So we're getting one of their stories, and then the ghoul stories, and then I assume they're all gonna run into each other at some point.
That's the classic heroes plot.
Yeah.
I,
So,
I I always call it a heroes thing because it's like, oh, you have like 20 different characters that are all separate, but they're all going to be in the same place by the end of the season.
yeah. They'll all meet up, and then the show will fall apart after that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. The heroes.
Yeah.
The heroes journey.
Yeah. The three body problems next. I'm calling it. It happened with Game of Thrones.
Yeah, because I was reading the cast list of the TV show Three Body Problem. I'm like, I don't know who these characters are. I know like a couple, but it seems like this character is based on that character. I was like, why? You've changed all the characters. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, it's so apparently there's like an actual Chinese adaptation of the book that's like 30 episodes long. That's like actually those characters. So like, there's also that.
Yeah.
But I guess they wanted to make sure that it was set in London.
International or more of an international player. I get it. Cool. I'm trying to think. Was there anything else I did last week that was of note? I mean, other than X-Men, which we will talk about X-Men. That was kind of the. I don't think it's on our list, but the Joker trailer dropped.
Oh yeah, looks really good.
I think we were talking different show topics, and one was which show or what movies can save the box office. I think that's one of them. I think this movie could do $1 billion again because the original Joker, did $1 billion. So I think this could happen again.
It's Lady Gaga as well, so that's another thing.
And I, every once in a while, if the music is really good, like Encanto good, where everybody's singing the songs.
So from what I can tell, it's a jukebox musical.
That's what it seemed, but if the songs are really catchy or something, then and some of the original music, maybe. But if it's all classic music out, then that's different. But we'll see. I still need to see the first Joker, maybe one day.
It's I always say this, like, barring like the cultural impact that it had, whether that cultural impact is good or bad, just taken on its own, it's a really good movie.
Yeah,
um, and it's more watchable than Clockwork Orange, which is a movie that I hate.
yeah. I've seen clips of Clockwork Orange. No, thank you. Uh, so
I like to enjoy my movies.
yeah,
I watch for entertainment.
yeah. All right, let's go ahead and get on the news because we got a lot to talk about. So,
Mhm.
CinemaCon was this past week, and they announced a lot of
Is
movies.
CinemaCon new? I don't remember anyone ever talking about CinemaCon before.
No, they've had them last year. I think it's an annual thing. But usually people announce things at Comic Con, and I feel like they're kind of shifting it more to Cinecon stuff. I think also part of it is box office is so down right now. They have to get the movies jump started again,
Yeah.
or we're going to be in really big trouble here. So which one are we talking about first?
I know we're not going to talk a whole lot about like MCU because it's all bad news. But I
Well,
do.
Disney stock went down after they announced their CinemaCon announcements.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, but I did want to bring up now that we've seen stills of Harrison Ford in a Marvel movie, it just doesn't feel right to me. It's so weird.
Yeah.
Like, and then I want to discuss the asterisks in the room. Uh,
Yeah, they they revealed the logo for Thunderbolts, and it's Thunderbolts asterisk. It is like, okay, is that just saying, oh, these are bad guys as good guys, or is that saying they have a different team name and the team name will be revealed at the end of the movie?
I think that means that this is a working title, and they're not going to reveal the title until after Captain America.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the most likely answer is this is actually Dark Avengers and not
Yep.
Thunderbolts.
Yep. That's
Which
my
I
thing.
which I think I would
You,
rather this be Dark Avengers, I think, because I like Thunderbolts and I don't like this being the Thunderbolts. I'd rather, I want classic Thunderbolts.
I mean, I just want a line like Will Smith was like some kind of Suicide Squad, but I wanted to be like I wanted to be like Baron Zemo. I was like, what are we, like the Dark Avengers? Like, like I wanted to be something.
It cuts to Bucky, like giving him this look, like
Yeah. Actually, you know what? The person who would probably say that more than anyone else would be Elena, Florence Pugh's character.
yeah.
Uh,
I was listening to Wendigoon and his name's Papa Meat, and they do a podcast, a creepcast, and they were reading some scary story, and the story actually says, "What are we, monster hunters?" And they both lost it. They were just cracking up.
what are we, monster hunters?
They're like, they did a Suicide Squad line. They did it.
But yeah, so Thunderbolt asterisks. I mean, like, I'm not excited. I don't care. If you know what, here's how I will care. If it comes out like maybe they're waiting to call it Dark Avengers, for after Captain America: Brave New World, because at the end of Brave New World, Norman Osborn comes out of nowhere and steals the Iron Patriot armor.
That would be cool if Iron Patriot shows up in Hulk and it doesn't reveal who Iron Patriot, or not Hulk, in Captain America, and they don't reveal who the Iron Patriot is, and then the Thunderbolts comes out later this year, and they can, I mean, you can't keep it a secret, but the most of the audience doesn't pay attention to the internet, and so it'd be this shocker that, oh, it's Norman Osborn, or maybe it's somebody different.
Yeah,
It could be Red Skull or something. You know?
it's Justin Hammer.
Yeah, Justin
No, no.
Hammer.
Honestly, if Sam Rockwell is in the Iron Patriot armor, I'll buy all the tickets.
Yeah.
I will fund your next film, Marvel, if you put Sam Rockwell in that armor.
Listen, I can't take Asterix seriously because when I see Asterix, this is what I think of. And
El Pluribus Anus.
thanks to Community, I cannot. I just can't take that serious anymore. So I think that's an accurate picture of Marvel currently.
Yeah,
is
yeah. Oh, definitely. That's the next Avengers logo.
Wait, what if this is actually a Community movie? This is the Community movie, and the
Oh man,
Thunderbolts revealed to be the cast of Community, and Chevy Chase is Iron Patriot.
It is. It's all about them going to Guatemala to save Childish Gambino.
Yes.
and LeVar Burton.
Yes.
They get. I don't know if you remember that, but there was like in one of the later seasons, whenever like there was like a news story on the bottom of like where it was scrolling, it says LeVar Burton and compatriot kidnapped by Somali pirates. So technically, in the Community universe, right now, Troy and LeVar Burton are being held captive by Somali pirates.
That's funny.
But yeah, so next up I had...
real quick though, Thunderbolts being a Dark Avengers movie, that makes sense if Sentry is the villain, as strongly hinted at, because Sentry was a big part of Dark Avengers. So, okay, carry on.
Honestly, you know how like there's always like this back and forth between Marvel and DC as far as like, oh, they're going to make Batman versus Superman, we're going to make Civil War, or they're going to make...
Flashpoint and Spider-Man. No Way Home.
Yeah. If this is Dark Avengers versus Sentry, I really hope that this is like, oh, we're gonna make Forever Evil the movie, which would be amazing.
Is that the cyborg zombie one? Is that or not? But Cyborg causes the zombie virus. Is that no? That's Deceased.
No, that's Deceased. No, Forever Evil is where all of the heroes are defeated and kidnapped by the crime syndicate of America and put in another universe, and so it's up to the villains led by Lex Luthor to stop the crime syndicate from taking over the world.
Well, it's the Mark Millar wanted universe. Got it.
Kind of, and it also that's where they reveal why Lex Luthor is the way he is, and like no one ever brings it up, but I love it, which is Lex Luthor has like this savior complex, obviously. The reason he has this savior complex is because his sister was killed by like a mugger and he couldn't save her. Like he felt powerless, and so now this whole savior complex that he's had for however many years, DC Comics has been in print, is because he couldn't save his sister. And so that's why he wants to be the best Lex Luthor is not evil. He wants to be a hero, but he wants to be the only hero. That's the best Lex Luthor.
There's almost a jealousy of
100%.
Of Superman. Yeah, so
100% of jealousy. And in my opinion, that's also the best Doctor Doom, because I remember there was a comic book where they went to a universe where Doctor Doom actually took over the world, and it's like this, peaceful utopia.
Yeah. It's kind of how the modern Secret Wars was. It was kind of like this beautiful empire, and
the only thing holding back Doctor Doom from being a good person is that he hates Reed.
That's
what I need. I need the only thing that's holding Doctor Doom back is his hatred for Reed, and then Lex Luthor, the only thing holding him back is his hatred for Superman.
Yeah. What's next?
Running Man. I don't know anything about this. You put this on the list.
Have you never seen Running Man?
I mean, I've seen Running Man. I just didn't hear about any announcement.
Edgar Wright is remaking Running Man.
Oh.
Now are you interested?
Now I'm interested. So who's in it? Like, do we just know it's Edgar Wright?
It was some actor I don't know. You would know him. I think he's in that movie of Sweeney, whatever her name is.
Oh, is it Glenn Powell?
Yes, Glenn Powell. That's
I love Glenn Powell. See now I'm yeah, Glenn Powell to star in Edgar Wright's remake of the. Oh, this is great. Oh my god, I love this.
Yeah.
Did you not see Top Gun Maverick?
I haven't seen either Top Gun movie.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Because he's in Maverick as well.
Okay.
Man, that's awesome. I love it.
yeah. I would not care if they were remaking Running Man. Oh, Edgar Wright's making it. Yes, I am interested. Yes, please.
Oh man, that's like we're gonna remake Lawnmower Man and then give it to Quentin Tarantino. Like,
yeah.
Okay. I mean, I don't have a whole lot to say about that, but that's cool.
I just think about how he treated Scott Pilgrim and just wondering what he could do with this. Just.
Have you seen his stuff after Scott Pilgrim?
No, I know he did that. What was that movie called? It wasn't really a scary movie, but I guess
Last Night in Soho.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one yet.
You watched Baby Driver over to our house whenever you guys visited.
Yes, Baby Driver's the last thing I saw. Well, I kind of saw it at your house. It was hard to watch with everybody in the room talking and blah blah blah.
Yeah. Last Night in Soho is really good. And honestly, I mean, I put it under horror. It's there is, and it's phenomenal. Which I think that was his last movie, so Running Man would, obviously be after that. Hasbro's Cinematic Universe. So you said Transformers / G.I. Joe. Is it one movie? Or are they connecting these? Or okay.
Yes, this will be. They haven't said a title. I assume it's Transformers versus G.I. Joe, or I mean, it could just be a team up movie, but I mean, they have to have an initial fight between the Autobots and the Joes where it's a misunderstanding,
How could there ever be a misunderstanding between a government unit and giant robots?
Yeah, I don't know how that could happen. I would feel better if they had a better G.I. Joe movie going into this, where it was, better established characters and stuff.
Oh, is it connected to the Snake Eyes movie?
I don't think so, but I know very little details about this. I just know it's happening. And so this could be the greatest thing ever or the worst thing ever.
I mean,
there is a movie coming out called Transformers 1 also. So I don't know if that's a reboot or
I remember that was I do remember that. That was like an animated one, right?
Oh, maybe it is. Maybe I'm wrong.
It is animated, yeah. Optimus Prime and Megatron go from brothers in arms to sworn enemies on their home planet of Cybertron. Animated movie, origin story. But it does take place in the Transformers film universe. So it takes place before Bumblebee, essentially.
Okay.
That is, I feel like we've talked about this now that I'm seeing this voice cast. Chris Hemsworth as Optimus Prime. Brian Tyree Henry as Megatron. I'm on board with that. I love Brian Tyree Henry. Scarlett Johansson as Alita 1. Keegan-Michael Key as Bumblebee. John Hamm, Sentinel Prime, and Lawrence Fishburne as Alpha Trion.
Oh, so they're doing probably the jerk Sentinel Prime from Transformers, the animated series. Okay. All right.
Because that's the only person that John Hamm knows how to play.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Did you ever play the War for Cybertron game?
Yeah, briefly. Yes, I have played a little bit of it.
Yeah. I was just thinking about it the other day, and I'm like, man, that's like one of the greatest games of all time that no one ever talks about.
Yeah.
Um. So yeah. So next up is the Star Trek announcement. Um.
I just know they announced Star Trek. I know nothing about this. So, what
So
is this movie?
So I was so curious. I was more curious about them announcing a Star Trek thing than Running Man. So I actually looked into this.
Uh-huh.
It's an origin movie.
So, like a Captain Pike movie, or even before that?
We are not sure. It's just been described as an origin movie that technically takes place in the Kelvin timeline.
How? Huh? What?
Yeah, that's all. That's all. So
How
like,
could that be the Kelvin timeline? Because the Kelvin timeline splits at the beginning of the Pine Star Trek movies or whatever.
yeah, yeah. So people are like, wait, so
Huh?
is this is this like in between the prologue and then the movie? I mean, like
Right?
when someone says a Star Trek origin, I'm like, they already did that in First
I was about to
Contact.
say this is a. Are they gonna do a first contact time travel movie then?
Yeah, I don't know. Like it's just
Oh,
it's
God.
just been described as a Star Trek origin movie that takes place in the Kelvin timeline.
Look, there's a lot of changes going on at Paramount right now. They are either going to be sold or merged or something. So all this could go out the window with anything related to Paramount. So
Yeah.
I think they just want to get something announced to make it look better to a prospective buyer. And
Yeah.
then, so I would not put much faith in this movie coming out. Ever since the actor that played Chekhov passed away, they have not known what to do with these Star Trek movies.
Which I love that actor, and Chekhov is an important character. My prediction is it will be a bad Star Trek movie. I mean, more often than not.
Yeah.
No, hold on. If we look at percentage wise though, if we take the percentage, okay, the Kelvin timeline has a better win rate than the original timeline.
Oh,
As
Caleb.
no. If you look at percentage,
Are we
wise,
looking at like Rotten Tomato
no,
percentages?
no. I'm just saying net positive. Like Star Trek 2009, good movie. Into Darkness, bad movie. Beyond, good movie. Okay, that is a 2-to-1 ratio of good movie. The
But
original timeline has like a 50-50.
yeah, but that's just
Yeah.
because. Just
I'm not.
because.
I'm not saying it's a good sample size. I'm just saying that's.
Yeah, because just because Nemesis throws off the whole thing at the end, it should have been a good movie, and then it would have been more 50-50. And,
Yeah. I'm not saying it's a good sample size. I'm just saying that's the sample size.
ugh. But then you factor in the TV shows, anything modern Trek has touched has been a disaster, except for Picard season 3.
Which is so funny because we all know my opinion on
Yes,
Picard
Caleb, we
season
know your
1.
awful opinion that Picard season 1 was better than Picard season 3. You're the only person who
Yeah.
thinks that. And we
Well,
welcome
because
everybody's opinions here, but that
it,
is an
it
awful opinion.
it's because I don't like Star Trek.
Well,
That's
yeah,
that's why. Um, that's why Star Trek 2009 is my favorite piece of Star Trek media. It's because I don't like Star Trek.
yeah. Okay. Do we know if this is? I mean, have they announced who's making this? Is it like Bad Robot, or is it somebody else finally?
Oh,
or
I didn't even look at that. Let me see.
a director, a writer, or anything?
Let's
Because they've been
see.
trying to make the fourth Star Trek film for a really long time. It was supposed to involve Hemsworth and
Direct. Let's see who.
maybe that. Oh, maybe that is what they're doing. Because it was supposed to be about Kirk's dad. It was the rumor for a long time. So maybe if it is about the beginning of whatever.
Haynes is directing it. I don't know who Haynes is. Oh, Toby Haynes.
The underwear company is directing.
Yeah. Oh, he worked on Andor. This is gonna be great.
Oh, Caleb, quit spreading lies to our listeners.
Hold on. Andor is a phenomenal show, and
Ah,
it's being written by Seth Graham-Smith, who wrote. Oh, here we go! Breaking news! Written by the writer of the Lego Batman movie and Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
oh.
Two very different movies,
Two very, very different movies.
both involving
I
bats.
was just say they are both involving
So this Star
vampire
Trek,
similar characters. Yeah,
so this Star Trek movie is going to involve bats in some way.
some way it'll.
Film will begin production later this year, with release date of 2025. That's not happening.
I highly doubt they are starting production this year. That's one of those things where they've announced this and they have
Yeah,
nobody signed on. And this is
yeah.
the first the actors are hearing of it. They're like, "What?"
Let's see. Fans are speculating that the prequel film will explore how Starfleet and the United Federation became the dominating powers in the universe. However, this has not been verified. That can't be it, because if this is a prequel set before the remake, then it has to be after the split, or else it's just a prequel to the entire universe.
That, and I don't think modern Star Trek can tell that story without making Starfleet evil. They are obsessed with making Starfleet evil. This will be like how they are sticking their nose everywhere it doesn't belong, and how the Federation, spread across the galaxy, and just it's not going to be good.
Now, here's the thing. I think it'd be cool if you make a movie like that, but it's not from the perspective of Starfleet. You have like this ragtag squad of like maybe 7 or 8 people, and they're on this ship. They go around doing jobs and
So you talk about Firefly?
get like Nathan Fillion involved.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So that is the Star Trek movie.
I was so excited going into this stream today. Now my mood is slowly coming down further and further. Every movie we discuss, it's just kind of
Well, let's raise those spirits. We got more Sonic the Hedgehog. Jim Carrey is back. He is going to be wearing
good.
He is going to be wearing a fat suit, confirmed.
I hope it's very egg shaped. I hope it's just just go there crazy.
So apparently I haven't seen the footage because CinemaCon hasn't released any footage, and I haven't done the work to actually look at leaked footage because I don't care that much.
Right.
So we've gotten footage apparently of like Shadow, like doing Shadow stuff, but we still don't know who is voicing him. I'm really hoping it's Hayden Christensen.
That's been the rumor. I don't know. I don't think Hayden Christensen is a big a name like Idris Elba was when they announced him as
That's
Knuckles.
true. Well, I mean, Ben Schwartzman plays Sonic, and he's not
right. But they were not expecting the first Sonic movie to be a hit, and now it's like, oh, it's a hit. Of course, I don't know who voices Tails. I have no idea who voices
Tails. So who they got to voice Tails is Colleen O'Shaughnessy. She actually voices Tails in the games.
Yeah.
So maybe they'll get the voice actor for Shadow from the games, which would not. It'd be okay, but not as interesting. Like I want it to be like Keanu Reeves or something, Like I need it to be someone who is like famous for being edgy. Like not edgy as far as comedy, but like total like ouch, the edge hurts, edgelord.
It'll be shoot, what's that comedian's name? Oh, I've ruined my joke because I can't think of the comedian's name. So a bunch of people started hating after a while. He was really popular.
Oh, Dane Cook?
Yes, it'll be Dane Cook.
I'll go ahead. You know what? I'll throw my hat into the ring. Okay, I'll do it. Dane Cook is very funny, and he doesn't deserve the hate. I did it. I said it.
I don't watch enough things with Dane Cook to have an opinion. I remember his early comedy was funny. but I just know all of a sudden everybody
Yeah.
started hating him out of nowhere. This is one of those things.
Yeah, I've never really understood the hate for him. I think he's.
Yeah, I think
I
it's
mean,
when something becomes popular and he starts appearing everywhere, people just turn on him.
there was one joke that he said that was like about the Aurora shootings. That was like 2 weeks after the Aurora shootings. So
Oh yeah, that's
that didn't help.
yeah,
Here's the thing: you give that like 5 years, that joke would have been funny.
would it?
Oh, speaking of speaking of jokes that may or may not be too soon, but the speaking of jokes that may have maybe too soon, the killer has come back to finish the job, and OJ's dead.
Yeah, he got him. So
Yeah.
cancer killed Nicole Brown and
Yeah. I didn't even know he was sick.
yeah. Funny how that happens.
That's my favorite Norm. Do you know that Norm Macdonald joke? I didn't even know he was sick.
Go ahead. I'm sure I've
So
heard
Norm,
it.
so Norm Macdonald is talking about Adolf Hitler, and it was like, oh, he's such a horrible guy. You know, how we need to get this guy. Like, how is he still walking around? And they're like, no, Adolf Hitler died. He's like, oh, I didn't even know he was sick. Yeah.
I really felt like celebrating Norm Macdonald more than OJ when OJ passed. I wanted to like, here's who should we be talking about today is Norm Macdonald. What a guy. He was awesome.
No, and the funniest thing about the "I didn't even know he was sick" joke is it's the last joke that Norm Macdonald ever said, because when he died, nobody knew Norm Macdonald was sick.
Yeah.
And so whenever OJ died of cancer, I'm like, I didn't even know he was sick.
Yeah. My favorite OJ joke from him dying was, well, now you can finally find out who the killers are.
Oh man.
I agree, Trippy Gork. I wished that OJ had passed before Norm. It would have great.
What a discussion we're having right now.
Yeah.
I'm not against it. I'm just acknowledging, like, I'm viewing this as a third party.
this episode's going some weird places.
Oh
this
yeah.
week.
So yeah, I'm excited for Sonic 3. I love Sonic. I went to IHOP because I love Sonic, if that doesn't tell you anything.
You have a problem, Caleb. We got a Sonic intervention.
You know what's the funniest thing is, like, I was so close. I was so close to being a furry. Like, I just dodged it. Like
Caleb, if you had become a furry, we would not be doing this show right now.
I don't know what happened. It was like the Matrix, man. I was just like, oh, it's not gonna get me. Well, no, think about this. Think about it. Because I love Zootopia. I love Sonic the Hedgehog. My favorite Digimon growing up was Renamon. Like, everything points to the fact that I should have been a furry, and I'm not. So thank God.
Well, I mean, I grew up watching Thundercats with sexy Chitara. It's a wonder I'm not a furry.
I know.
Or they made Gadget sexy on Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, a sexy mouse, and it was like, yeah, all of our cartoon characters were always sexy back then.
I had to deal with Rouge the Bat. Like, she was popping out of that dress.
Oh, Trippy Gork's like, this is my final episode of Pop Culture Shark. I'm out of here.
So, Last Ronin. I'm honestly surprised about this. I know Last Ronin is like a big thing with Turtles right now.
Yeah.
But like an R-rated Turtles movie, that wasn't on my bingo card.
I think they will advertise it more as Last Ronin the movie rather than Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Last Ronin the movie. Like, I don't think they're going to put Ninja Turtles anywhere in the title, probably.
Have they confirmed that it's R-rated?
I keep hearing everybody saying that. So unless everybody's just repeating something, it sounds like it.
I mean, I've got to be completely honest. I don't see this being a live action movie either. You know, like
It would be expensive. It's very futuristic. It takes place all over different spots of the world. Um,
and it
I
it
get the R rating because the deaths are violent. What that happened to the other turtles. Um,
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that like this could be a really, really hard PG-13 animated movie, and so
yes.
I don't get like the make it R-rated. Yeah, I don't get the I don't get the call for it.
Yeah, I have heard this call agreed tripping org that people wanted R-rated turtle for a long time. But even when I read the old comic books, I never felt it was R-rated, other
Who
than
are
them
these people?
cutting off Shredder's head. I've heard this for decades. People
Are
thinking of
these like
R-rated
Zack
turtles.
Snyder fans? Like,
Well, I mean, people look back at those Mirage comics in contrast with the old cartoon where it was so lighthearted. They're like, yeah, they cut off Shredder's head in the comic books. It's R-rated. And
that, believe
other
me,
than that moment,
first of all, he had a helmet on, and so like whenever there's a helmet on, decapitations are not R-rated. That's just the rule.
yeah,
I mean, Clone Wars got away with decapitations all the time on Cartoon Network, and that was TVY7.
yeah.
The original comics are more mature, but you
I
can
don't
be
know. Yeah, I
you
don't know if
can
they were ever R-rated mature.
yeah. And here's the thing, like because something's R-rated doesn't make it mature either.
Yeah,
Like I would say I I'm trying to think of one, but like
but let me,
the Dark Knight I think is more mature than Deadpool.
well, yeah, I would
Yeah,
agree.
yeah. Like
but here's the other thing, though. I think that the decision to make this R-rated is you don't want a bunch of kids going to this movie going, "Yay, Ninja Turtles," and then seeing all their heroes die. They're trying to keep some kids out of the theaters.
but I mean they did that for Endgame. Or not Endgame, but Infinity
And,
War.
yeah, and there were kids that movie was so traumatic for them.
Yeah.
I heard
They were
stories about little kids going to bed going, Spider Man, he's gone. He's dead. They did, they had no concept that of comic books undoing things like that, and so for a little kid, Infinity War was devastating.
Oh, believe me, I was in the movie theater. I heard the kids crying behind me. Um,
So
I don't know, like
I think making it rated R makes sense to kind of protect the brand a little bit. You don't, because Ninja Turtles is so big with little kids still to this day. I think you want to keep some of them out of the theater.
but do you think that's going to? Because like I mean,
No, I don't think so. I
yeah,
think people are stupid and take their 4-year-olds to R-rated movies all the time.
I mean, like I have watched kids in Watchmen, Deadpool 2, Joker. Like, if it's a
I,
comic book, you're gonna take your kids to see it.
well, I know that people take their kids to Saw movies. People are stupid.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Well, speaking of extra mature stuff in superheroes, remember it. It's like,
if you have not been watching X-Men 97, we are about to
yeah,
talk about it. So full spoilers for Remember It. I would encourage you, if you don't know what happened, go watch it.
yeah.
skip this conversation. But the X-Men 97 cartoon, it's dealt with some tough subjects, but it hasn't been, it hasn't been that bad. And
Let me just go ahead and say, if you watch our episode, this show did not blow me away. Okay, like it didn't blow
okay,
me away. This episode, I get it now.
I like how this episode. Well, I'm just gonna briefly describe what happens, and then we'll
Yeah, go.
discuss
Yeah,
it.
give us a
The episode
recap.
opens with Trish Tribbley, a reporter. Trish Tribbley, a reporter, is doing a expose on the X-Men. It's a PR piece to make mutants look good, and it's not going well because Cyclops is still reeling from losing his son and all the drama of Madeline Pryor and Jean Grey. and they start having some fights going on. They're getting caught on camera and stuff.
Wait,
So the
and like obviously he was in love with. He thought he was in love with Jean, but he was actually in love with Madeline. And now that
he
Jean's
doesn't know
back, yeah,
who's who, and then Wolverine's involved, and yeah, Jean kisses Wolverine because she's all mixed up. Everybody's mixed up, and this is all classic
welcome to
X-Men.
X-Men.
Yeah, classic X-Men drama. So the episode kind of,
I want to bring this up real quick. I thought that the funniest thing that Jonathan Hickman did to get around it was make the four of them poly.
yeah,
Like I thought that was. I don't agree with it, but I thought it was funny. It's like we're not even gonna deal with this. Like,
yeah.
Emma, Jean, Logan, Cyclops. Go do your thing. Like,
Anyhow,
it wasn't me. It was Jonathan Hickman.
yeah. The opinions of Jonathan Hickman do not reflect the opinions of Pop Culture Shark and its affiliates. No, I like how this episode kind of lures you into a false security or about what the episode's about. Because when it starts, you're like, oh, this is just going to be a drama episode, everybody squabbling and stuff. Meanwhile, Magneto, Rogue, and Gambit are going to Genosha. And we see that Genosha is now we're seeing the beginnings of a mutant paradise. You know, what Xavier... I don't think it's what Xavier dreamed, because it's not humans and mutants coexisting. It's just mutants existing by themselves, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But this is a much happier place for mutants. And we're getting a lot of drama between Magneto, Rogue, and Gambit. Who will Rogue choose, and all this stuff. And then it goes to like I assume it was the Hellfire Gala. That's basically what it was.
Yeah, that I got that feeling. Yeah.
I
was like, oh, we're gonna get one of these every season.
Yeah. and so you're like, it's really leaning into the drama, because at first I thought Gambit was about to hook up with Madeline Pryor's, where it was starting to head when he saw Rogue and Magneto flying. I thought, okay, Gambit's gonna go hook up with Madeline, and then Rogue's gonna see it and get all jealous. That's where I assumed it was going. However,
it's like OC.
Yeah. However, I had heard from somebody saying, don't read spoilers for X-Men this week. So I knew something was going to happen. I wish I had known nothing going into this episode, because I would have been, I would just been floored. So here's the big spoilers. Here we go. Madeline is outside looking up at the fireworks. And if you look at the fireworks, you can see the Watcher up there watching everything.
I have thoughts on that, and we'll get there.
But the fireworks are going off, and you see Cable start running through the crowd. He gets to Madeline saying he's coming, and not now, body slide. It's too soon. I'm sorry, Mom, and he's gone. And she realizes, oh, my son that we sent into the future is Cable. She has this revelation, and then a blast hits Madeline and kills her. And then multiple blasts hit, and it's just chaos. Mutants running everywhere, getting vaporized. Massive fight between Magneto and a giant Tri-Sentinel has appeared. Sentinel with 3 heads.
I was excited whenever it was a Tri-Sentinel.
Yeah. And it is brutal.
Yeah.
It is.
Is this a kid's show? I can't tell anymore.
This episode was definitely not a kid. Speaking of shows that would traumatize a child, this is one of those. We see many fan favorite characters die. Banshee and Barrow get vaporized. Sebastian Shaw's dead. Dazzler's dead. Callisto, Squid Boy. Everybody's just died left and right.
Not Squid Boy.
Yeah, not Squid Boy. And so Magneto, Rogue, and Gambit are, they're running around trying to save everybody. They're trying to save the Morlocks. We see Magneto say enough is enough, and he uses a subway train as a whip and starts beating the Tri-Sentinels. And then he goes to protect the Morlocks, and I thought as soon as this happened, I thought, oh, Leech's powers are going to kick in because he's scared. He's going to steal Magneto's powers, and Magneto's just going to get vaporized. Is where I thought it was going, and but Magneto wraps metal around Gambit and Rogue so they can't interfere. And then the blast hits, and Magneto tells Leech, "Do not be afraid" in German, and they get vaporized. Oddly enough, I was not that upset with Magneto's death. I was just kind of like, yeah, that's Magneto for you. This happens to Magneto, and so we see a very angry Rogue fly off to attack the Tri-Sentinel. Gambit charges up his bike, throws it at Rogue to knock her out of the way. And then the Tri-Sentinel is about to blast a building full of mutants, including Nightcrawler. And Gambit makes one last stand against it, dives into the air. A metal tendril shoots out of the Sentinel and stabs Gambit. The Sentinel says threat neutralized, and Gambit starts to smile. He charges up the Sentinel. He's like,
"The name's Gambit. Remember it."
It just blows up the Tri-Sentinel. It is such a badass death for Gambit. It is maybe the best Gambit moment ever.
It's so cool. Just remember that, and I there's no way that this is not like accurate because I felt like this. Gambit was the every kid's favorite in the old show. Like we all thought Gambit was so cool.
What you don't realize about Gambit in the cartoon is he had only been introduced a couple years earlier in the comic books. He was still a very new character, and that cartoon made Gambit and Rogue so popular that everybody loved them. So for this,
everyone played Gambit. Like we walked into the arcade, played Marvel vs. Capcom, and Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Gambit was on that screen. We all picked Gambit, of course. We did.
I mean, he was a playable character in the X-Men Genesis game. You had 30 different X-Men, and he was one of the playable characters.
Everyone, you had the Gambit game on not the Gambit, the X-Men game, Mutant Apocalypse on Super Nintendo. Everyone played Gambit first.
Yeah. So the final scene, very reminiscent of the death of Superman, where Lois Lane's holding his body.
Yeah.
Rogue is holding Gambit's body and crying and saying, "I can't feel you." It is a devastating line because she's finally touching Gambit and can't feel anything because he's dead. And wow. We have seen this type of devastation before in the comic books, but this just hit differently. I don't know if it's because it was animated. I think the other part of it is there's no immediate cause or reason why this happened. It just happens out of nowhere, and there's no like, oh, I can't believe so and so did this. We don't know who did this. It's just like a senseless act of violence, and it just hits you really, really hard.
I remember how I said last week, like my biggest complaint is like, I don't get it. Why did they bring the show back? This show did not need to come back. There's you could have done this, whatever you're doing with like a new X-Men. I get it now because you wanted these characters to be established for 5 seasons so you could kill them.
Yeah.
Like I get it now. Like don't show someone the Transformers movie as their first exposure to Transformers.
Yeah, it's like the Michael Bay Transformer movie Jazz Dies. It's like, who?
Oh no.
Oh no, Jazz. He rapped sometimes. It was cool. Oh, I mean, this is devastating. This is a character that people have loved for 30 years, or longer, and it's just it is a gut punch. And the writer of the show, I think his name is Bo something, that the one that got fired,
Bo DeMaio.
Yeah, he said that this was his pitch to Disney was, I want the X-Men to have their 9/11 moment, their nightclub shooting moment, their this horrible tragedy, and explore what hatred really looks like, and really take these characters through this. The other thing he said is this is the warm up act. It's going to get a lot worse. And I don't know if the internet's freaking out over this and it gets worse. I don't know how much, I think we both agree there is a reset button here with cable. There is a get out of jail card for this.
And I think we can both agree that maybe we don't want that.
I think the show's better if Gambit is dead and you just go forward. It hurts. It hurts a lot.
Yeah.
But I think it's a better show if you don't bring
Yeah.
Gambit back. Now, I'll put an asterisk on that, and E pluribus anus on that.
Thunderbolts X-Men asterisks. X-Men asterisks. That's the name of the next.
If they are setting up Gambit coming back as a Horseman of Apocalypse,
that would be dope.
Which has happened in the comic books.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. That's fine. I'm not okay with Cable undoing this. So, I thought this was probably the best X-Men thing I've ever seen, live action or animated. I don't know if you would agree with that. I think, well, the episode as a whole is a strong, if you want to show someone what X-Men is, you've got the family drama at the beginning, and you've got the hatred of mutants at the end. This is your God loves, man kills. If you want to hand someone something, this is X-Men.
Yeah,
what I would hand up is this episode.
I get what you're saying. I don't want to send them this episode though, because I want them to watch 5 seasons so that way it hurts more.
Yes, my son is starting to get into X-Men. He's like, I want to go back and watch the old animated series before I watch 97. I'm like, okay,
good on him.
So I think that is the right call.
Is that the older one or the younger one?
The younger one.
Okay.
So,
dude, younger one's got great taste. I don't know what the older one's taste is anymore.
Older one's taste is all over the place. It is. He usually has terrible taste, but he does like the Fallout stuff. So I'll give it to him.
Okay, so here's the thing: X-Men, live action or otherwise, you got Legion to talk about. But if we're talking about like traditional X-Men, then I can see where you're coming from. But Legion's still the best thing that X-Men.
Oh, the other thing was they set up the psychic affair between Madeline and Scott, which was in the comics between Scott and Emma, but they switched it to Madeline. But Emma overheard it.
Yeah,
that's why I think Emma's I think she's about to become a major cast member of the show, especially if we're doing E for Extinction. She joins immediately after the Genosha attack in the comics.
Do you? Here's my thing, because I think right now we're in Operation Zero Tolerance mode. Would you agree with that? Like this is kind of the beginning of Operation Zero Tolerance.
Yes, I lean more towards that than us going into the Morrison era of X-Men.
I feel like, well, I'm saying
I think it's an amalgam of both of them, but this is Operation Zero Tolerance era. Yes.
I think sometime by next season we'll be in Morrison stuff. Is my opinion, because I think that if things are going to get worse than this, then it has to be Extinction. Like it has to be the mutants being on the verge of extinction.
Let's go ahead and pull up my list of suspects of who is behind this, and we could talk about where we think this show is going from here.
Let's see.
They did reveal I don't know if you saw the trailer for the rest of the season. Have you seen that?
I have not. Give me 1 second. I just had your list up, but I don't know where it went.
I won't talk too much about the trailer. The trailer did show Captain America's shield, so Captain America is going to be showing up.
Nah.
Yeah. Well, he was on the old show too.
Yeah, but he was in the bad season.
The season we don't talk about, the bad season.
He was in the season that had the Phalanx Covenant in it.
That is a bad season. Yeah,
I remember. I mean, I've been reading stuff and people are having problems with it, and they're like, "Well, Captain America was in the old show," and I'm like, "Yeah," and I can tell you didn't watch the old show because you claim to have fond memories of his appearance. Um,
I to tell you the truth, I get X-Men animated series and Spider-Man animated series mixed up. I keep expecting that Captain America was on X-Men fighting Red Skull's son, the Electro. That's not right, you know.
no, no, no. I think the episode was like a flashback to World War II with Wolverine and Captain America,
Yeah.
something like that. But even then, X-Men Evolution did an episode like exactly like that, but it was way better. So
hmm
once again, X-Men Evolution is a better show than the '90s show. Uh, it is. It is.
Sometimes the later seasons are better of X-Men Evolution, I would say. Yes.
Yeah. If you're talking about like what is X-Men, I would say half of season 2 forward, that's X-Men. Like the last half of season 2 forward is 100% X-Men.
Yeah,
Because
because when X-Men Evolution starts, it's very much high school drama, and it doesn't
yeah,
feel like X-Men, and then it
it's more
slowly
like
gets
Teen
there.
Titans.
Yeah,
Like X-Men Evolution really was like I can't remember what came out, X-Men Evolution or Teen Titans, but like they very much felt like um,
companions.
companions, competitors. Like
Yeah,
that's what I watched. And funny enough, there was actually a very similar story arc that happened at the end of season 2 of X-Men Evolution called the Day of Reckoning, which is where Wolverine discovers the Sentinels for the first time, and then they just go on a rampage attacking the New Mutants. And
yeah. I think Sentinels should be used sparingly because it just becomes we're just killing giant robots. When they show up, it should be terrifying. And
yeah, I think they showed up way too much in the '90s show.
yeah, so I think this episode was kind of necessary to remark. Oh yeah, Sentinels are a very scary thing. You should be terrified when a Sentinel shows up.
I don't know if you remember Wolverine and the X-Men but they were even kind of scarce whenever they went to the future with Professor X.
It's been a long time, dude.
Okay. Well, maybe it shouldn't because Wolverine and X-Men is the best animated series that X-Men has ever had.
Yeah, I agree.
This might top it. Like if we ignore the first 5 seasons and this is its own show, then this might top it. We'll see. This is the only episode that has blown me away. I do find it interesting though, and it's a classic TV show tactic where you have like a funny like nothing episode right before a heartbreaking episode. That's just classic like storytelling in TV shows.
Yeah.
And last week's episode, the Motendo stuff. I mean, like I hated it. Like I can't complain more about it.
Yeah, it
But
was you could delete that 15-minute part of that episode and you wouldn't even miss it. It
yeah,
added nothing to this other than putting a little bit more spotlight on Sunspot and Jubilee's potential.
yeah,
Both things you could just ignore.
yeah.
All right, here's my presentation to the class. Who attacked Genosha by
There will
Final
be
Monkey in
there
7th
will
grade?
there will be a test at the end.
So I think we'll pull each of these up, and this is kind of in order. I was gonna put Onslaught on the list, and I was like, no, Onslaught's it's too much. It can't. I really would be surprised if it was Onslaught.
I it there
They would be mentioning Xavier a lot more, or showing him if it was
Yeah.
Onslaught. I feel.
Now he's not on your list. What is your? I mean, I guess that's your answer then.
It feels like Onslaught is too big. Like that's too big. It's a separate storyline.
Plus, like if I'm an X-Men fan, like this Bo DeMaio guy is, if I'm an X-Men fan, I'm not gonna do Onslaught. You know,
Onslaught has one of the best first chapters, where they resolve the X Trader thing, and then it just goes downhill from there. that first issue where they figure out that Xavier is the bad guy is so good.
yeah.
And then it just all falls apart. All right, go to our first candidate. Apocalypse. I do not want this to be Apocalypse. They are dropping hints that this is Apocalypse. A lot of the visions that Madeline Pryor's been having is like rats crawling over dead bodies and stuff. Very apocalyptic visions. I and it involves Cable. All ever since episode 1, when she had her first vision of the guy in the dust, it was Cable saying that he's coming, he's coming. It's
I would hate it.
I would hate it too. If this was the first time we're seeing Apocalypse, it would be pretty cool. But they have overused him way too much on X-Men the Animated Series. Is probably my biggest complaint.
And so bringing it back to Jonathan Hickman, Jonathan Hickman wrote one scene with Apocalypse in House of X that just encapsulates Apocalypse, which is they're coming up with the bylaws of Krakoa, and then they look at Apocalypse, who is one of the council members, and they're like, "Are you going to play ball with us? Are you going to be okay with this?" And Apocalypse says, "This affects me in no way whatsoever. I've always wanted the mutants to be the reigning species." So, like, him attacking mutants, it just doesn't sit right with me. Like, him being the cause for Operation Zero Tolerance, that is not Apocalypse. Apocalypse wants mutants to thrive more than anyone else. He wants mutants to thrive more than Magneto does.
Yeah. I really do not want it to be him. Like I said, part of it also is the final appearance of Apocalypse in the X-Men animated series was not that good. It was kind of like this 4-part confusing storyline. It's just like, okay, we've had enough.
Yeah. Yeah, not Apocalypse, please. No, thank you. Who do we got next? Executioner?
Strife. This is Cable's clone.
That's right. Okay, yeah.
So if you're doing the story of Cable, I mean, I don't remember him being on X-Men animated series. He may have appeared. I can't remember. But if you're doing the beginning of Cable's story, it would make sense to bring Strife in. I don't want it to be Strife, but if you were going to do it, this is kind of the time to do it.
I just looked up. So Strife makes a non-speaking cameo appearance in X-Men the Animated Series Beyond Good and Evil Part 4, which means he was probably one of the... You remember how, like, in that last episode with the Apocalypse Saga, where they had like a bunch of the telepaths come together?
Yeah.
So they had Psylocke show up out of nowhere, and
so
in non-speaking appearances.
So I think Strife is a villain they haven't really used in a long time. And they have, but I think it would be shocking for the cartoon to who's doing this, and they unmask him as Cable's face, and they'll be like, "What?" It would be if you don't know your X-Men history, it'd be kind of a shocking moment for the audience. So I could see that. I just don't think it's the answer.
Honestly, even if you do know your X-Men history, you may not know this character. So
yeah, and there was when he appeared, there was debate about is this the child of Scott and Maddie, or is it Cable? Which one is the actual child? And that was a big debate for a while. And which one's the clone?
Another thing that this could lead into is, I don't know if you remember, but Strife did have a hand in the Messiah trilogy.
Yeah. My memory of the Messiah trilogy is vague. I haven't actually read all of that. So I know like the story beats, but I don't know all of it. So and also we're dealing with Sunspot. Sunspot was part of X-Force. Strife's an X-Force villain, but I feel like they'd be introducing more New Mutants before they did that. So
I'll be honest, if Phantom X shows up in this show, it's the best show ever. I'll just go ahead and say that. Like,
Phantom X is great. I could see after this, like all the children from Genosha that they were showing a lot of kids in Genosha, a lot of the teenagers. I could see all of them becoming students at the school. If you're going the Grant Morrison route, they're going to have the big school, and like maybe we saw a preview of the students that are going to be heading that way.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Strife makes sense just because we're dealing with Cable being sent to the future, and that's part of the story. I don't think it's Strife. So
Do you? If it is like obviously, if it
I
is,
won't be mad if it's Strife. I'll be
if
like,
it
okay,
if it's Apocalypse, this is a bad show that doesn't understand X-Men. But Strife is okay with you at least.
yeah, I could see
Okay.
Strife. He's he hates Cable. He probably hates Madeline for sending him into the future because he thinks he's their baby. It would make sense that he he kills his mom. That would make perfect sense.
Yeah.
Magneto.
This is it. This is the answer.
Caleb really thinks it's Magneto.
This is the answer.
I think the one scene that makes me think it's not Magneto is where he's having the flashbacks that says never again. That's the only thing that makes me think this was not something he planned. That just because we saw his imagery and him just freaking out over all the dead people.
Okay, I can get on board with that, I guess.
However,
this is something he would do.
Well, okay. First, comic book wise, the start of Grant Morrison's story, Magneto gets killed at Genosha, and then Zorn shows up as a student at the school,
Yeah.
and it's Magneto, and he, so he may not be behind it, but he's taking advantage of the situation. I don't think he's dead. I actually, I do not think he's dead.
Do you think Zorn shows up?
Yeah, I kind of do. I will say this: if Val Cooper turns out to be Mystique, then Magneto's 100% behind this. And Mystique and Magneto have been manipulating the situation from the beginning. Val Cooper and Magneto working together, then it's 100% Magneto. And Val Cooper or Mystique is always impersonating government officials like all the time. It's a very X-Men thing for her to do. And Val Cooper has been in almost every episode. So they've really quickly made her a very important character this season.
Yeah,
it would not surprise me at all if she is Mystique. So
has she impersonated her in the comics? I don't believe so. I'm
trying to remember
in like a big story arc.
No, she was always Colonel Raven or something in the comics. There was some government official she was always impersonating during this time period with the Forge Storm stuff going on.
Right.
But yeah, if Val Cooper is Mystique, then they manipulated the Magneto trial, like everything. They've been manipulating the X-Men. Also Magneto shows up and says, "Oh, I'm in the will." That could have been fake. Everything could have been fake, and Magneto could have been manipulating them from day one.
Now, what is his agenda then?
He believes that here's another thing. He sets up Genosha because at the final episode of the X-Men animated series, he's setting up Genosha where he's starting to make them into an army. Fast forward X-Men 97, it's now a peaceful blah blah blah. He knows that he may not be behind the attacks, but he knows that if he puts all the mutants together like this is a target and somebody's going to hit it, and then he can take advantage of that situation. So maybe he has nothing to do with the attack, but he knew that they would be attacked at some point, and then he would prove that Charles is wrong. Because here's mutants just chilling out and doing nothing, and they got hit. So, yeah, I'll play along, Xavier, with your dream, but my answer's right. We could not ever be friends to humans. We have to wipe them out. So maybe he didn't do the attack, but he knew the attack was coming.
Yeah. Which, I mean, like...
That I agree with. I don't agree with that he's behind it.
But... I mean, like... Even if it's not malicious, of course he knows it's coming. His firm belief is humanity will always attack us.
Yes.
So like even if it comes to the point where even if it comes to the point where it's not him and and it's even if it's not malicious, he knew it would happen.
And if Magneto is revealed to be alive in a couple episodes, there's no way him and Rogue are a couple going forward. Rogue has chosen Gambit at this point when he died. It's over.
Thank God.
Yeah, so I don't think he's dead. I don't think he's behind it. If he is behind it, then he's behind everything that's happened this season. But
do you think that it's possible for him to be alive and not have something malicious, like prior to the attack? Like,
yeah,
like, do you think that
like he's finally buying into Xavier's dream? That's kind of what happened in the comic books. He was kind of buying into it until he couldn't buy into it anymore. Like he got pushed too far, and
but what I'm saying is, do you like he's not involved whatsoever? He has bought into Xavier's dream, and he, this is truly peaceful. This is all sincere. Is he still, with that idea in mind? Is he still alive? Or if he is still alive, let's say in a couple episodes he comes back and he's still alive, and he is acting, as the same characters we've seen, is that sincere? Is what I'm saying.
No, I think if he's alive, like I think he may be gravely injured. Maybe the Morlocks are nursing him back to health or something. When he comes back, he's going to be classic Magneto and just destroying everybody. This is it. The humans and Charles had their chance. They were clearly wrong. The X-Men way is not the way, and it's just going to be war on humanity. So that's what I think. I don't think he's behind the attack, but if he is, then that's really crazy writing, and Mystique's involved, and there's a lot more going on.
Yeah.
So, next candidate.
This is the correct answer, actually.
The only reason I don't think it's Cassandra Nova is because Cable said he is coming. It didn't say she is coming. That's the only reason I don't think it's Cassandra Nova, because in the comic books it was Cassandra Nova.
Do you think that? Do you think they'll play into the fact that she's bald and be like, he is coming? No, it's a female and she's just bald.
No, and the other reason I don't think it's Cassandra Nova is, spoilers, she's the villain in Deadpool 3, or she's playing a part in Deadpool 3.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the other I can't see. It'd be really bad on Disney's part to make her the villain in two things.
I mean, is that bad or is that product synergy?
It could be. It could be that they want to introduce this character before Deadpool 3, so more of the audience knows about her. And maybe they could hype up the movie more, say, oh, you remember this character you liked, X-Men 97? Well, she's in Deadpool 3,
yep. And maybe she's not the villain. Maybe she's just in it.
Yeah. So Cassandra Nova, for those who don't know, is Charles Xavier's
twin sister.
Kind of twin sister that was in the womb that Charles choked to death or something goofy. It's kind of a psychic twin sister or something. They had a name for it, like Imondi or something. I can't remember what it was called. It's something weird. It's based on some ancient mythology, but she is.
Here it is. Mumadrai or something.
Yes. And it's I don't know if Grant Morrison made that up or if it's actually based on actual mythology, but she is a very nasty character, and you do not want to mess with Cassandra Nova.
And what's insane, if I recall correctly, ES for Extinction happens, and then she doesn't show up for like another 100 issues.
Yeah, she's kind of plotting in the background, and I really need to go back and reread Grant Morrison's.
It's the best. I love it.
Yeah. She's the most. If Cable did not say he is coming, I would swear it's Cassandra Nova. She may be working with the other person who I think it is, who we'll get to in just a minute.
What if it's what if it is? What if it's Cassandra Nova in Charles Xavier's body, just working like that. Like he is coming means Charles Xavier, but it's actually Cassandra Nova.
I could see that. Like I could see that being the season finale that Xavier just shows up, and then we get this shocking reveal that wait, this isn't Xavier. This is Cassandra Nova. Because she did do a lot with the Shi'ar Empire, if I recall.
Yep.
And that's where Xavier is right now. So if you want to end this season on a cliffhanger where they're dealing with the threat, let's go ahead and show the number one. This is who I think it is. This is Bastion. He is the combination of Nimrod and Master Mold. They got merged together. The season starts with Master Mold. It is Sentinels. The Forge episode from last week or week before showed a picture on the wall. Bastion's in one of the pictures on the wall. And a guy that looks very much like Bastion walks by the camera very quickly at the Hellfire Gala. I'm almost 90% sure it's Bastion. And the finale is called Extinction Tolerance or whatever it's called. What's it called?
Tolerance is Extinction.
And he is part of the Operation Zero Tolerance story in the comics.
That's almost why. You know what? I think you're right. I think it's both of them.
I could see Bastion and Cassandra Nova working together.
The way
them using each other. Yes,
yeah.
I could definitely see that.
So the way I would actually view it is them working together. But I'm leaning more towards Cassandra Nova having like the ultimate power in that.
Yeah, I could see the finale be about Bastion and then have Xavier show up at the end and reveal that, oh no, Xavier, Cassandra Nova's been behind all this, and then that's going to lead into season 2. I could see that. I do have to give props. This is not my theory. I wish it was. I was watching New Rockstars, and when they started pointing out that Bastion's everywhere, I was like, oh yeah, it is definitely Bastion. There's no question that it's Bastion.
So whenever Cable says he is coming, you think he's talking about Nimrod? Like
or maybe the Tri-Sentinel, Bastion, Master Mold, Cable. Yeah, I mean, or Nimrod. Yeah, they're all the same thing. It's
well,
he is coming.
So what I'm thinking is like maybe Nimrod, like maybe Tolerance's Extinction is about Cable chasing Nimrod back to the present, and he's trying to stop Nimrod from fusing with Master Mold.
Could be. You're starting a robot, by the way. Speaking of robots.
Mutant threat terminated.
That was beautiful. He sounded just like
I'm going to go ahead and exit real quick, and I'll be right back.
Okay. But yeah, Bastion, like I was saying, makes the most sense. He's a character that's not used that often. He hasn't been in the X-Men movies yet. I really think it is Bastion, especially with the first episode dealing with them going to face Master Mold. They're setting up very early on that the Sentinels are the threat. And here he comes. He's back. Hey. Okay, yeah, you sound way better.
Okay.
I was just talking about Bastion more. Just saying that he hasn't been in any of the movies. It makes sense to use him here.
Mm-hmm.
And the first episode being about Sentinels really makes me think, it's gonna that's going to play out off.
And it was Sentinels that attacked.
Yeah, and it makes sense that if you're doing a follow-up to X-Men animated series, it started with the Sentinels. It makes sense to make the Sentinels the threat again. Just kind of that's how you started the old show. So if you're going to start the new show, bring back the Sentinels, make them scary again.
So here's what I'm thinking. Do you think that we go in, and I don't want it, but do you think that they go into some sort of House of M thing?
trying to think how that would happen. I don't. I don't think it's no. I don't think so. I think they're saving something like that for the MCU because I don't think Scarlet Witch's story is over. I know that they've been talking about doing Vision Quest for a while, which
Hmm.
with White Vision and Scarlet Witch. Like their story is not over there. I can't see that bleeding over into X-Men animated series. I feel like that's something they're saving over there, unless it's a character other than Scarlet Witch that causes House of M.
I don't know who it could be though. Like who else has
Madeline
that power?
Pryor, maybe.
Yeah, no, yeah, that would be the answer.
It like if Madeline Pryor somehow survives the attack, and then she traps everybody in a perfect world where her son didn't get sent into the future, and none of this happened. Like I could see something like that, maybe,
Mhm.
but I just think this is the wrong time to do House of M. I like that's a separate season, separate story.
So let's go ahead and talk about this. I want it to be a reference and nothing more. But the Watcher isn't it. I don't want him to play any factor.
Oh,
I
I don't
don't.
think he does. I think this is just classic Marvel. Whenever something earth shattering happens, the Watcher appears in the sky before it happens. That is classic Marvel comics.
Okay.
So I think that's
Because
he just showed up because this is a key moment in history. I'm here watching. That's what I do.
well, so because people are theorizing like, oh, we saw the Watcher, and then Captain America Shield is
No,
in. I
I
don't
don't.
like.
No.
Yeah.
If Captain America shows up, I kind of want him doing the Deathlock story, where the Deathlocks are showing up and
That'd
taking
be
over the.
cool. That'd be cool.
If we're dealing with future threats, that could be another future threat. Like, oh, there's another timeline where Deathlocks take over, and
Yeah. Um.
the
But yeah,
trailer also showed a lot of Nightcrawler, so I'm pretty sure he's on the team. So
that is kind of insane, and I don't know why I didn't think of it. Is like introducing the original team and then completely changing it up halfway through the season.
yeah,
Like that. That's a really good idea. That's totally X-Men. Uh,
yeah,
honestly.
and I saw a lot of reactions to Gambit's death. They were upset, but they went, "No, Cable's going to do this." I really don't want Cable to undo this. I want people to
Yeah.
realize, "Oh wait, Gambit actually died."
Yeah.
I think the show's way stronger if you. I almost wish Cable did not show up this episode. If Cable had not shown up this episode, I mean, it would have been way worse.
I mean, I that was kind of the thing with whenever Hickman came out with House of X, and then no one can die, everyone's immortal. The whole idea was like, obviously we're gonna bring these characters back, so like, come up with drama without killing anybody. This is the reason why, because retcons are a thing, and
Yeah,
I need them to not be a thing. I need you to be able to.
I don't want us to go 5 more episodes and it gets like super bad to where like Wolverine's the last X-Man alive, everybody gets killed, and then Cable undoes it all at the end. I don't want that.
I mean, it wouldn't be. I don't think it would be Wolverine, honestly, because one thing that I do like about the show is Wolverine is kind of like a non-factor in the
Oh
show.
yeah, he's hardly other than fighting the Sentinels first episode, he's done nothing.
Yeah.
Which Wolverine should be used sparingly, and because when it becomes the bad thing about the X-Men movies is they're really Wolverine movies. They're not
Yeah.
X-Men movies.
Which,
It's more Wolverine
which,
and the X-Men.
which is funny because we have the Wolverine trilogy,
Yeah,
and then we have another Wolverine trilogy,
yeah,
and then we have a First Class movie that becomes another Wolverine trilogy.
kinda. I mean, it
uh,
starts out to be kinda because Days of Future Past is a Wolverine movie again.
yeah. Um, so
So yeah, I'm really excited to see where this goes. I think this week is going to be a quiet episode with Forge and Storm again. and maybe touch a
Oh
little
yeah,
bit on
I
the
don't.
other stuff.
I would not be surprised. I don't think we're going back to Genosha until the week after.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a very
Um,
quiet episode with the adversary
let's.
of Fortune Storm.
You know what? Give me 1 second. I want to see because I know next week is Life Death Part 2, and then
Right.
there's something, and then
It's the
uh
it's a Bright Eyes or something,
Bright
right?
Eyes. Yeah, Bright Eyes. Who's Bright
Which
Eyes?
I think it's Rogue.
Why? Why?
It's either Rogue or Cyclops, but I think it's something she said. I think it's one of her quotes from the old cartoon that she would say.
Hold on. Let me.
Yeah, I feel like it's something like this episode
I
was a
mean,
reference to a Gambit quote. I think that's a reference to a Rogue quote.
yeah. I mean, like it's. Remember me, Bright Eyes.
Yeah, it's something that she said. Yeah,
Who's she talking to?
who knows? I don't remember. Could have been anybody, a Sentinel or anything, but it was one of those things that, like when they would show a commercial for X-Men animated series, that would be like you would hear that said over and over.
Do you think that, like, with "Remember It" being Gambit's like famous catchphrase, and then he dies, do you think Rogue dies in that episode?
No.
No.
I think going back to my scenario where there's only one X-Man left, it makes more sense if it's Rogue is the last X-Man standing, and it kind of undoes this or something. And I think the writers said that they were surprised that Rogue became like the standout character this season when they were writing it. So I think they have a lot more planned for Rogue.
Yeah. I mean, like, here's the thing. Like, Rogue is...
I don't think you kill off both of the fan favorites. I think you kill off one. I think you kill off both. Your audience may riot on you.
But I mean, Rogue and Kitty Pryde are kind of similar in the fact that they could be considered point of view characters. So
yeah.
Now,
okay, going back to the episode that you hate, Motendo, it did show a future Jubilee in the simulation. Maybe it's Jubilee that fixes everything at the end. If it cuts to the future and she's like the old X-Man that's still it's the Motendo version that we saw.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that may be the point of that episode, is showing Jubilee's future potential. She is the intro character from the X-Men animated series originally.
She was the Kitty Pryde.
Yeah. So I can see her being the savior at the end. Maybe leading New Mutants with Sunspot in the future.
I don't think they would do that because, like, you kill off the fan favorite, and, like, let's be honest, nobody liked Jubilee. Like, she was
there are Jubilee fans. They're not as strong as the Rogue and Gambit fans, but there are Jubilee fans.
Yeah, I don't. Her stories. Her. There are dozens of us. Dozens of us. No, I don't know. In something like this, I don't see Jubilee playing like a major. I don't see Jubilee being a major player in this. Like,
okay, and I kind of agree. I don't want her to be. I feel like this is more of a Rogue story now.
Yes.
And Scott, I think Scott's being set up for, he needs to step up, be the leader, and put his personal drama aside and be the man he needs to be.
Well, and that's why I like them killing off Magneto, because Magneto kind of gave him an out.
Yeah.
Because, like, he was supposed to be Charles's successor, and then Magneto comes in and it's like, actually, I'm the leader, and it's almost like a phew moment for Scott, because he's like, oh man, I almost had to do something.
But you also have Scott's outburst on TV now of him saying, kind of screw you humans moment in this episode too. So now it's like, oh, is the world going to think that Scott's another Magneto? Is he going to start kind of following more Magneto's path? Which we kind of like that Scott. We like the Scott that's more less Xavier, more Magneto Scott. So I'm hoping that we get some of that.
Well, here's the thing. I like that Scott, but I need them to make Wolverine a more prominent character before they do that, because I need Wolverine to take over the Xavier part.
Okay. I don't think we're getting a schism this year. I think that'd be too
No,
much.
no. I'm not talking about like, like a schism. The reason that I like Scott being Magneto is because Wolverine is the Xavier. Like I need that dichotomy. I don't just need Scott to be another Magneto. I need there to be an antithesis to him for it to
balance to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do think Wolverine will be a bigger player going forward after this. I think they've been kind of holding back, letting other characters get the focus. This has been more of a Jean Madeline storyline up to this point, and then this episode obviously a Gambit Rogue story. So I'm really excited for this. This is like the most excited I've been for X-Men since like House of X. I am hyped. I'm on board. This is right. Everything we love about X-Men, how cool of a franchise it is.
This is kind of like earth-shattering, like House of X was.
Yeah, and again, I think we've seen mutants get killed off before in the comics. It's just the way this was filmed, and the writer saying they wanted it to be like a 9/11 moment. It hit so hard. And it was just so well done.
Imagine Moira, because Moira's in the show too. Imagine she comes out of nowhere and is just like, I saw this in my other lives.
Yeah, I couldn't prevent it then. I couldn't prevent it now. Sorry, guys. But she, I think she died. I think she. Well, I don't know. Was she one of the victims?
Hey, if she died, then she's coming back.
Yeah,
it's another life for her.
Yeah.
I think you and I
you're
can
starting
agree
to turn to a Sentinel again, by the way.
Oh, okay. I can't think of any. I can't think of anything else.
Yeah, Omega level mutant.
Omega level mutant. Well, let's go ahead and just wrap this up then, because I think I can agree that we don't have enough time to talk about what we were going to talk about as far as the other shows.
Yeah, and I kind of felt like the more I thought about it, I was like, this is probably just gonna be an X-Men episode, which is fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
Especially after we talked about it last week, we were kind of like, it's pretty good, and now it's like, oh wow, this show's awesome.
I had more to say about this episode than the past 4 episodes.
Yeah, I would agree. And if you have not checked out X-Men 97, I would encourage you to. If you like the old cartoon, I don't know if this will play into Deadpool 3.
I hope not.
Yeah. But this was fantastic. If you like X-Men, this was just a jaw-dropping episode, and I'm kind of annoyed that they fired the writer. So yeah, we're not sure what next week's going to be just yet. We've been kicking around some ideas.
We might talk about what we were going to talk about. Who knows?
Yeah, it might be shocking TV moments. We might both get on the Fallout train and try to watch through those, or it might be Shogun. I don't know. Shogun won't be over for another 2 weeks though, so it probably will not be Shogun.
No, it won't be Shogun, definitely.
But yeah,
we'll probably Shogun will probably finish, and then we'll probably let it sit for a couple weeks after that anyway.
So if Deadpool 3 is a hit, this finishes really strong, I just wonder if the title starts turning again on the MCU, but then I just think that all the goodwill is going to get destroyed with Captain Falcon or Captain America, whatever he is. And,
show me moves!
And the Asterisk movie. I just think it's gonna I think that the people are going to get excited about Marvel again, and then it's just going to get knocked out with those 2 movies.
Here's the thing. Like, sure, Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America were heavy hitters for a time, right?
Yeah.
But, I mean, remember, X-Men have always been the core of the Marvel universe.
X-Men and Spider-Man have always been the core of the Marvel universe.
Yeah. Like, if I'm being honest, if you get people excited about X-Men again, this is my take. I don't even think bringing back Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man.
No, I don't think it's necessary. If you get people like hyped about X-Men, like really hyped, and then you deliver movies that are like this episode that we had last week, then I think the MCU is fine going forward.
And I don't even think that when I'm saying about Robert Downey Jr., I don't think that that'll do anything, honestly. Like,
no, I don't think that'll get people back in seats. It'd be like, because I think people are kind of tired of member berries.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, we're doing a new Terminator movie. We're bringing back Arnold Schwarzenegger. Who cares? It gets to a point where, yeah, I've seen Robert Downey Jr. in like 8 or 9 or 10 of these movies. Why do I care if he's back?
I mean, like, even remember what I said last episode. The reason I didn't like the show at first was because I was like, this just feels like member berries. Like, oh my god, you're pandering to me with the X-Men arcade game. Like, stop it. Like, show me something I haven't seen before. And then they show me something I haven't seen before.
Yeah, it was literally mind blowing. It was like, wow.
Yeah. I mean, like, so I always called member berry. What did I call it last week?
Retrogression, something.
Marketable regression. That's what it is.
Yes.
Which, I mean, if you bring back Robert Downey Jr., that is regression for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Been there, done that. Like,
yeah.
So, like, the only thing that will save the MCU at this point, I don't think the Fantastic Four is going to save the MCU. It's got to be X-Men. Marvel has been crapping on the X-Men for the past 20 years. It's got to be the X-Men to save them.
Yeah. And this really gives me hope, this episode, that they could handle the X-Men movies correctly. If Kevin Feige lasts that long, it feels like people are trying to gun for him, but who knows?
I mean, so there is one thing that I saw, which was like his speech at CinemaCon, and I'm like, oh, you're not likable anymore. I don't think I like you.
Yeah. Well, we are really hyped about X-Men. We hope they can stick the landing the rest of the season, because it could all go to crap after this. It really could. But really, really strong episode. And I'm really...
What if X-Men 97 is the next Heroes? Because Heroes was the next X-Men, so like it's all full circle.
Yeah, it's all cyclical. Yeah. Cool. Well, let us know what you thought about X-Men 97, and who you think might be behind it, all that fun stuff. Please like and share this live stream. We really want to start growing the audience. I promise there is a separate video coming. I just do not have time to work on it this week. I do have the one of the things I needed for the video, though. I do have, so I'm really hoping to do this video about the Silver Surfer.
Okay, I was gonna ask if it was the Silver Surfer.
Yeah. So
I'm still getting all the footage from the Arcade Expo uploaded to my computer.
I haven't told Caleb this yet, but my plan is to start having a video every Friday.
Okay.
So it may be a recap of a scene from one of our episodes, our live streams, or maybe something brand new. But that's what I'm hoping to just get in the habit of. Every Friday there's a new video. So very cool. Please join us next week. I'm sure it's going to be a cool show. We might talk about the box office, just because it's a bad time at the movie theater. So
yeah,
that might be what we talk about next week. But until then, I've been Final Monkey.
And I'm Caleb.
And we'll catch you next time in the Shark Pond.
See ya.